Hi, this is Everyday Buddha. This is Eri Matsumoto, and today's guest is Michael Overlie. And this is a series of interviews with my friends, Facebook friends, or everyday friends. And I just invite people who are on their spiritual path or have something really valuable to share with the world. And Michael, I got to know him over Facebook, and it seems like we have several coaching friends, mutual friends. So we must have somehow connected through coaching business. But anyway, I saw that he just published a book, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But I'd like to welcome you first. Michael, thank you for being on my show, Everyday Buddha. So welcome.
Oh, Eddie, thank you so much. I am excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yes, and the book is about a dog, and let's see, let your dog lead, right? And I've had several dogs and cats in my life, and I love them both. And you know what a teacher they are. And yeah, I think Eckhart Tolle said, I have lived with several Zen masters and all of them cats. So in his case, he seems to love cats. I think they're both wonderful and they both can be spiritual teachers. So let's start, Michael, with maybe a little bit about your background. I understand, you have a coaching business as well. So maybe you can start with how you got to where you are right now in terms of your business, what's important in your life, what made you who you are right now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, sorry, it must be a
How
big
many hours do we have for that?
about 6 hours. Yeah.
6 hours, Scott. Okay. I'm timing now.
Okay.
So I was, I guess I would consider myself for many years just a regular Joe, regular guy, just kind of going with the flow as I thought I was, to be like everybody else. And about 4.5 years ago, my older brother died, and this was pivotal for me. It allowed me to grieve. I cracked open and grieved so hard, and I realized that later that I wasn't just grieving the loss of my brother, but it was all of these other things in my life that had made me me, or what I thought made me me. And after this event, I started seeing things differently and noticing things and hearing things, and not in a schizophrenic way, but I just started seeing that there was more out there, and I was just on this mission to learn more and be who I was and find out who I was. And so that journey led me to understanding more about myself and more about dogs and their roles in our lives. And now I have a coaching business that helps men open up to find what makes them them. How can they create their own purpose, their life purpose, find what that is. And it comes back to remembering who we actually are. So I use dogs in this way. And it's fantastic because after my awakening, I'll call it an awakening, I started to realize all of these gifts and lessons that we were receiving that we weren't picking up on.
So you just started your coaching business 4 or 5 years ago after your awakening experience?
Actually, even less than that. So
Okay.
for it started out more as a spiritual journey,
Mm.
and I had to do some tough stuff and look at a lot of things and about myself and in my life that I really didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, well, how do I want to be? How do I want to show up in this world now that I'm a little more aware? And it started in that way. And I've been teaching in different ways on and off my whole life. Teaching, whether it's training people at work, teaching EMTs and paramedics, teaching people in healthcare settings. I thought, oh, I thought there's something else there. So how can I help to teach people to be who they are? And so that's what this is really born out of.
I see. Okay. So from the grieving process, went into the spiritual path, and what type of things that helped you overcome the grief or going to the awakening process, to the point that you started helping other people. So what type of, training or some path or teaching that you have gone through?
Oh my goodness. So I started looking into energy healing,
Mm,
and I trained with the woman who created Healing Touch for Animals, because obviously I have this big thing about animals. So that I trained with her for a while. And then I started training with one Reiki master, and then another Reiki master. And then I started looking into pranic healing and all these other modalities. And I I sensed that they were all from the same source. And it's just kind of what resonates with the individual. So that was a huge thing for me. I got in touch with this whole other way of noticing the world.
mhm.
That was very transformational for me.
Wow.
I've always been a little sensitive, right, to sights, to sounds. I could walk into a department store and I could actually hear the lights. So I've always had this thing on energy, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't realize that there was this connection. So that brought me into this other way of just noticing the world. And I could sense the energy of my feelings around certain things now. And I really didn't like what I saw. So I had to start to figure out some things. Um, yeah, so that was a big part of it.
So you already had some more sensitive sense of what vision, smell, hearing, sensing energy. So you kind of honed the skills you already had. And then, so in what way are they manifesting right now? Like you can see things that people might normally dismiss, the sound or hearing or vision or maybe energetic, because you mentioned energy healing maybe on animals.
I notice a lot more. I can feel people's energy. I can sense things that that maybe even they don't know is going on for them at the time.
Mhm.
And it can be uncomfortable, and it's actually really interesting. Sometimes I have a difficult time discerning whether it's mine or somebody else's, what is going on.
Mhm.
So sorry about that. My new pup is talking to somebody outside here. um yeah, it's more of a sensing, it's more of a feeling.
Mhm.
I don't see auras, I don't sense those kinds of things, but I'm a lot more sensitive to what's going on around me,
Mhm.
how people are feeling, what not necessarily what they're thinking, but what they're moving through in their day. And when people are really angry, grumpy, uncomfortable, I can sense that.
Mhm. And how do you help people with that?
I help them become more aware to
Okay.
their own feeling, to allow what's going on for them, to notice it, and to be able to be with it
Mhm.
and understand a better way to maybe work with what's going on, instead of
Mhm.
dismissing it or pushing it down or blaming it on somebody else, which is a personal favorite. Um,
Mhm.
you know, how can you use that for yourself?
So having done Reiki and therapeutic touch and hands-on, we tend to kind of unruffle the energy or kind of smooth out the stuck energy type of things. So I'm into more like that type of, more familiar with those energy healing or energy cleansing. So in your case, you'll mostly, have people aware of the energy that they have and stay with it. Is that sort of your modality of healing?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Right.
I guess I would describe it as helping them connect to the field of energy that's already around them.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
block ourselves off, close ourselves off quite a bit. And the
Yeah.
work that I do is more of an expansive nature than maybe directly I'm working on, why your ankle hurts or what's bothering your elbow or what's causing your headache.
Right.
And the way I look at it is we all have the ability to heal ourselves in some manner. Our bodies are fantastic that way, but we don't remember how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I help connect and reopen that field for folks is how I think of it.
And you mostly work with men. Is there any particular reason that you work mostly with the men and not so much with the women, or?
Yeah, yeah, no, great question. We need more help. We are less likely to seek out help. We're less likely to ask for help when we need it. We're definitely raised differently, and there's this big, tough guy, macho, do it myself,
Right,
and
right.
we actually close ourselves off from so much. We're afraid to be seen as weak. Another reason we don't ask for help. And I think that's a detriment to us and definitely not a benefit.
Mhm.
So I work with the guys who have dogs because their dogs already know who they are. The dogs have an in. We men have this bond with their dogs, not all of them, but more so than not, that they're able to be differently around their dogs. They
Mhm.
let their guards down. They can act gentle and soft and sweet with their dogs, and with their buddies, they have to put on this show and
Mhm.
yep, this is me. And so it's different. The dogs have already got them dialed in, and so there's a great access point to get to work with guys from there.
Okay, so what if the guys you're working with don't have any dog? So do you recommend them to get a dog, or go find a dog, a friend's dog, or how do you help them if they don't have a
Yeah, that's a great question. I definitely don't recommend just running out to get a dog.
dog?
There's something else there.
Hmm.
Maybe it is time for those folks to go get a dog at this point,
Hmm.
but it's not a reason to just go get a dog. So, but if there's something really there, something resonant, and says, you know what, I've been thinking about this for some time, then I would say, yeah, go start looking. Don't just run out and get a dog for getting a dog's sake or just for this purpose.
Hmm.
But if something's speaking to you, then I would say definitely look into it.
Hmm. Yeah. But with your coaching, probably because you have this dog on your website, so probably the people who are attracted to your coaching, probably they already have a dog or have had the experience with dog, special bonding with dogs. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's an important piece, and it's very different. I don't know of anybody doing anything like this right now, but the dog is actually a component of what is to come in the application of the things that we're working on. So the
Hmm.
dog's actually a very important piece. It's not just a comfort measure, and it's not just something cute that sits next to you.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So tell me about the book. So probably, the book explains a lot about that, your modality or how uh, the dogs can help you, being aware, being present, and not just a comfort measure. So tell us more about the book.
Oh, exactly.
Mhm.
So I want to go back just a tiny bit. You mentioned Eckhart before, and
Sure.
he's fantastic, and he actually did a book with another gentleman. I can't remember his name. It's called Guardians of Being, but
Patrick,
it's about dog.
Patrick
Yes,
Oh,
Patrick
yeah,
Yep,
right. Yeah.
yeah, and it was
I
about
love
dogs,
that
and
book. That's my favorite book.
yeah, it is so zen. I was like, oh my
Yes,
god, I love this book.
totally. Hmm.
So yeah, so my book is kind of an intro to starting to declassify yourself, um, starting to remove some of those identities that have been placed on you since childhood. Um, lifting the veils, as it were. Let's say since childhood you put 1,000 veils over yourself, and so things are going to be a little blurry. You may not be seeing what you think you're actually seeing.
Hmm.
So it's beginning to lift one veil at a time by starting to dedicate a time for yourself, dedicate a space for yourself. Remember that who your teacher thought you should have been is not necessarily who you are, or your mom, or your dad, or the preacher, or the bus driver. So it's a way to get back to remembering who
Hmm.
you actually are. And it's called Let Your Dog Lead, musings on how to create an exceptional life.
Hmm.
So I don't tell you how to do any one thing. I offer a lot of things. I ask a lot of questions, and
Hmm.
hopefully you'll ask yourself even more questions. But it's to completely change one tiny shift at a time
Hmm.
how you show up for yourself.
So, do you have any examples? What type of suggestions or perspective that you help people with in the presence of a dog?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So let's say you go out to take your dog for a walk. People are really habitual. They'll
Mhm.
go the same direction every time. Like they come out of the door and they turn right. They go around the block that way,
Yeah.
or they have a loop they do, and it's usually the same over and over again for most folks.
Mhm.
Um, I propose next time you go the opposite direction,
Mhm.
or if you have a favorite dog park, maybe you go to a different dog park.
Mhm.
What you're doing is you're telling yourself that you can do something different and it's okay. You're safe.
Mhm.
You don't have to do the same thing over and over and over again. We do this habitually and also as a control measure because it's comfortable and we feel safe doing it. So changing that up one little bit,
Mhm.
um, whether it's with your dog, going to the same dog park, maybe go a different way,
Mhm.
take a different street, take a different path there. So I mean, you can come up with a million of these things on your own.
Mhm.
um, Ways to do things. You can brush your teeth differently and start to, rehabituate yourself
Right.
by maybe switching hands.
Mhm.
And next time, stand over here. And so it's just interesting how many things you can think of to do this. But doing it with your dog when you already have maybe you're a little more relaxed around your dog is fantastic. Now, and walking with your dog, anytime you're walking or running or doing something you're actually moving, you're using both sides of your brain. So if
Mhm.
there's something that you're trying to work on or think through, um, you know, getting both sides of your brain to talk to each other while you're doing this is fantastic for
Mhm.
integrating.
Right. Yeah, that reminds me several things. And one is that I am a coach too. So I coach people to decondition their mind. And about 95% of the things you think about is the same as exactly the same as yesterday. So just like you say, you use your, non-dominant hand when you brush your teeth, or, put on different socks, or don't put on socks, or do something different, even a little bit,
Mhm.
or do actually the opposite of what you would usually do to decondition or get out of your habitual thinking, the way of thinking. So, but let your dog lead, and then dog might just do something that you wouldn't even think of. Oh, I would never think of going that direction or doing this
Mhm.
way, or stop over here for 5 minutes and sniff this and that. So it just kind of force you to do something that you won't normally do. So your habitual brain is, oh, let's do A, B, C, D, E. Oh, we never do, E, D, C, B, A. We don't do that. But dog will
Exactly.
force you to, let's stop here. Oh, let's run over
Yeah.
there. Oh, let's kind of chew on shoes or whatever. So something kind of unexpected, just kind of in a fun way, in a loving way. So I can see that, yeah, definitely, dogs can be
Yeah.
teacher, the therapist, and everything combined, companion, best friend, nurturing mother, everything.
Oh, and incredible teachers of presence.
Yeah.
So, think about your dog sitting in the sun or
Oh,
maybe hanging out the car window with its head in the wind and they're just loving it.
gosh.
They do these things constantly and they're not worried. Obviously, their lives are a little different, right? They don't have to worry about the mortgage and getting the kids to school on time and putting gas in the car. But
Mhm.
um, they take it to a greater extent than we do. Is they don't sit there and worry about all these other things
Mhm.
or what the dog next door said yesterday, or they don't have these stories that they're spinning and telling themselves. They can just
Absolutely.
be in any moment. You've seen a dog, two dogs maybe get into it a little bit, and then they literally shake it off, discharge that energy, and they're good with their day.
Mhm.
So they show us so many ways how to just be and to just
Mhm.
enjoy what is happening right now.
So several while you were talking, I'm thinking about some of the cartoons from the Guardians of Being, and one of them, the dog is barking, and then everything that come off those little bubbles is now, 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 now. Everything is now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
with the guy who's walking the dog and thinking about that, in the bubble, there might be a mortgage or there's something else, past, future, but dog is all about now, this leaf, this smell, this worm, this
Hmm.
tree, this, yeah. So just now, 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 now in the bubble.
Yep.
The
I've,
moment.
I've seen another cartoon where there's a dog and a man
Mhm.
the man sitting on the bench, the dog is sitting on the ground next to him.
Mhm.
and they're in front of this lake, and it's beautiful. And there's two bubbles. The dog has one, and the man has one. And the man's he has several bubbles, and it's
Yeah.
there's
Right.
there's a dollar sign. And have you seen this?
Yeah. Yeah.
A dollar sign and a house and a car and all this stuff.
Mhm.
And then the dog's bubble is a smaller version of the actual image where they're sitting there in front of the lake.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. Lovely. Yeah. And then like a little thing that makes you happy. I think there's a character, maybe Black Cat. I can't remember the name, but pink little sock. That little thing that makes the cat or dog happy. It doesn't take a car, big house, lots of money, status. Just little rubber band or
Mhm.
little pink little sock. Just as happy as
Yeah.
can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a dog with a stick or a ball.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then, I think we forget to have fun as we get older. We get so serious and caught up in our stuff, and we forget that when we were 5, we had this incredible imagination, and we could have fun wherever we were and whatever we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we get adulted, and we go, oh, we have to be serious now, and we
Right,
have
right.
all these rules. So
Well,
yeah, having a dog just opens you up to so many possibilities. That's great.
yeah, and especially dog when you come home to the house and like it's always fresh for them. Like, oh my God, like it's like he or she haven't seen you for 5 years. Oh my God, I'm so glad you're home. So glad you're here. Cats have that to a certain degree. They might greet you, but not that exaggerated. Dog has such an exaggerated joy, pure joy. Like jumping up and down,
Yeah.
like, oh, I love you, you're my world. Yeah, so yeah, so such a joy. I think that's the word I think of a lot, with the dogs at nature. Yeah, so that's something you forget, as you say,
Mm.
as we get older, kind of you lose the energy, like you lose the freshness. You just think you think you know this street, you think you know what tree is, you think you know what flowers are. So you just have
Mhm.
the language, the memory, but you don't actually experience the sky, the cloud, the tree, the flowers. So it's only like in their language, in the memory, but you don't actually see things that's in front of you, like sort of in the bubble, but
Yes.
in the bubble, but not the thing in front of you. Yeah. I was just thinking, I live in Monterey County, California, and then yesterday there was a poodle parade. It was a poodle day, International Poodle Day, and hundreds, if not 1,000 poodles of all shapes and sizes and colors in this town. Everywhere, poodles everywhere. And I have a place, this office across from the hotel that dogs are welcome. So we went to have lunch over there, like poodles everywhere. You just
Oh,
and it's just so much fun. But they get, this is a little bit extreme, but they kind of dye their hair to pink and blue and wear tutus, and it might be a little bit different ways of enjoying dogs, but dogs don't really care about that. But they're just in their pure joyous being. But anyway, I wanted to mention that we had a fun dog day, mainly poodles all over town, and it was
how
fantastic.
funny. They do a corgi event here in
Yeah.
Fort Collins.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're in Fort Collins. Okay.
I'm in Fort Collins. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a corgi thing, and it's funny as heck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Corgi.
I didn't realize there's so many corgis here. People come from other areas too to take
Mhm.
part in it. It's entertaining. Nice.
Corgis are kind of fun to look at. They're just kind of humorous to look at. Just make
Mhm.
you smile. Mhm.
Yeah, they're goofy.
Yeah,
They're
goofy.
fun.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Poodles are more, some of them are like a hoity-toity, like, oh, I'm so beautiful. And they are. They're
And they're
groomed.
awful smart too.
Oh, they're so smart. I grew up with a
Yeah.
poodle too. So,
Mm.
poodle has a place in my heart, especially toy poodles. So would you like to say more about your book and what it's about and how it might help people who might be interested in getting your book?
Sure, sure. I have a copy. I ordered some and they just came in.
Hey, beautiful. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Um, Oh, you had mentioned about the book writing process.
Yes.
So I had struggled with writing it, and it was really interesting. I started journaling, years ago, and it helped me work through some of the stuff that I had to work through. And I started working on all the stuff with dogs. I tried another business. It was a canine nutrition business. I studied homeopathy. I did all these things around dogs. And I've been journaling like crazy for all this time. And one day I realized that I don't have to sit down and write my book like everybody else. I don't have to have these, 15, 20-page chapters. I don't have to have this, this, this.
Mhm.
And I looked over and I've got the stack of leather bound journals. And I went, oh my God, I already wrote my book. I already
Mhm.
wrote it. I just have to put it together now.
Mhm.
So that was really fascinating me. So if anybody's out there and they want to write a book, if you have journaled at all, you've got some material to work with already.
Mhm.
What really fires you up? What lights you up? What do you want to talk about? It doesn't matter if, it's not going to be that everybody in the world gets what you have to say. That's okay.
That's okay.
But yeah, this is fascinating. So yeah, a lot of people they've got a book in there. They've already got a book written somehow, somewhere, whether
Mhm.
it's just in here. So go for it. Go for it. It wasn't that painful. I made it a lot harder than it had to be.
Mhm.
So, um, and that brings me right back to my book. So part of what I want to get people to understand is that you have some of your own answers already. You just have to be able to access them.
Mhm.
But if you're trying to please, 20 people in your life by being 20 different people for them, you're going to have trouble finding out whatever your own answers are, finding who you are. Uh, you're not lost. It's not gone. It's just kind of maybe covered up and forgotten a little bit.
Mhm.
So that's what I want people to realize is that they can access who they are. They
Mhm.
just have to deprogram a little bit, or lift
Great.
those veils, peel back the layers of the onion, whatever metaphor you want to use.
Mhm.
And the book is simple and it's a little irreverent. It's definitely written. It's a guy's book written from a guy's perspective. Um, but yeah, it's kind of a no nonsense. Hey, this is what you got to do. So there's a part in there about vulnerability. That's going to be really hard for a lot of guys, because we
Mhm.
think that being vulnerable means being weak. And if you're vulnerable, you're prone to attack or being judged.
Mhm.
So I think that's especially, empowering part of what's in the book for these guys, that they can do something, just a one little thing. And I love to reference something Charlotte Jacobs taught us about a 1 degree shift. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So I love that. So I use that quite a bit in
Okay.
showing people that they don't have to make these gigantic swings or changes in their lives. That it usually doesn't work anyway.
Mhm.
So, but if you can make one small shift here, be
Mhm.
with it, work with it, make one more small shift there, that is what's going to create the greatest lasting change for you in your life.
So just to kind of fill in the gap that about the book writing process. So you had all these leather bound journals, you had all the material, and then in a practical sense, what did you do? Did you have to type them up, or did you record it, or how did that journal became a book?
Gotcha. No, great question. So I had bought two different recorders and tried different things, like a talk to text software. And in the end, I felt that it was more cathartic for me to actually just sit down and type it.
Oh,
The physical action of me typing it was something.
mhm,
And then going through the journals and selecting the material that I wanted to use
mhm.
was fascinating, because I found things I'm like, I forgot I had written this, or oh my God, I can't believe those. Oh, I actually wrote this. That sounds pretty good. It was really fascinating for me.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um, so I came up with a bunch of selections, and then took from that what I wanted to actually put in the book.
Mm-hmm. And did you hire a editor, professional editor, or how?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So I used a company called Outskirts Press,
Okay.
and they're basically a self-publishing company. So they actually you're kind of doing some of it, but they're actually doing most of the work.
Mm.
But then it's they you have revisions for things. Editing was included in the package I bought. Like they got my book onto Amazon and they're doing the Kindle portion of it. They're doing, all of these things for me. But yeah, taking on all of that by myself, I was like, no way, not my wheelhouse.
So if anybody wants to get your book, they go to Amazon and look
yeah,
for,
Amazon. It's
yeah.
it's going to be at Barnes and Noble.
Oh, great.
I mean, it's distributed through Ingram and Baker and somebody, I can't remember the name. So it's actually available like everywhere for distributors and your local bookstore to order in for you as well. But it is currently available on Amazon.
Okay. And that's a print to order process. Not that you have a whole bunch of inventory, but those order,
Right.
They're printed, whenever people order.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes it easy to publish these days. You don't have to buy 5,000 copies and put it in a garage. And so things are a little bit different and make it easier to publish. Like my next door neighbor just published her second book and it's on Amazon Kindle, and she's 87 years old and this is her second book. Yeah, amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. So that sounds like it's a great book for the niche is men who cannot express themselves, cannot be vulnerable, because of our conditioning in the society. But maybe the dog's presence might help open up and be vulnerable, be themselves. But it sounds like your main message is to find your true self. Those are kind of buried under those layers, and maybe dog will help, and maybe some other coaching or therapy might help. But dog is such a great teacher. It's safe, loving, such a great companion, and have fun with it. I think you also mentioned, it's a good exercise. Get you out, get you outside, and get the fresh air. Wow.
Yes.
Fun.
Yeah. Get off the dang couch and go outside. Real quick point on that. A lot of us live in beautiful locations. You do, I do, but we still bring plants and animals into our homes. It's like we know there's something from nature that we're still craving, that we want. And so we bring these beautiful things to these other beings to live with us.
Right.
And then we stayed maybe closed up in our little boxes too much. So yeah, get outside. If you need to put on some layers, but go outside, and in your case, listen to the waves and smell the salt air. I mean, it's fantastic. You can hear the gulls calling. Close your eyes and imagine being one of them and flying around. But yeah, get outside with your dog. They're trying to get you out, and it's not just because they need to pee.
Yeah, I heard that people who have dogs, they live, I can't remember how many years, but let's say 3 years longer than average people who don't have a dog. And so I believe that's true for various reasons that you're mentioning. Exercise is one, but also kind of more mental, psychological relief, and having a companion with all of that combined. So I think, if you want to live 3 years longer than average, get a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're so lucky to share our life in a planet with the dogs and cats and the animals, and who just give you unconditional love. And I'm so glad you have a dog. Did you say it's a puppy?
Well, I think yeah, I'm not sure exactly how old she is. We got her from a rescue.
Sure.
So they think she might be up to 2 years old, but she is a spitfire. She is full of energy. So but she's also completely sweet. She's a black shepherd.
Yeah, I saw the kind of black face.
Yeah.
Tail kind of here and there in the background. And
yeah, her name is Indigo. Let me see
Indigo.
Indigo. Yeah, she just came to us.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so get you to have a really good exercise if she's such a powerhouse. Yeah.
She is. Yeah, we did a really good hike yesterday, and she pulled about half the way, and then I mean, we were scrambling. We were going over logs and under logs and climbing rocks, and yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure a lot of people can resonate. Okay, great. Okay. So anything else you want to share before we end the interview?
Yeah, actually, if it's okay, my company name is Dogs and Men, so it's
Uh-huh.
www.dogsandmen.com,
Okay.
and there's links on there to podcasts I've done. There's a you can click on my book and it takes you right to Amazon.
Okay.
If you click on a picture of me and my other dog Darby, then it takes you right to Linktree with other shows that I've done. There's I have an online course and coaching that's available from that spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So when I put up the interview, I'll put the link to Dogs and Men website,
Okay.
your website as well. Yeah, so they can
Okay.
click and go to that site.
Yeah. Other than that, just go do something fun today. Tell your family you love them. Take your dog for a walk. Spend some time looking at nature. That sounds like a good day.
Yes, yeah, it's a beautiful day over here, and we still have lots of poodles out there too. So enjoy, yeah, this day, beautiful day. It's a really beautiful day today, and taking their humans for a walk. So I think their humans are very lucky to have them.
Oh, that's what I say that all the time. I'll see someone walking their dog. Look
Uh-huh.
at that lucky human.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, and some people say like they other people say, oh, is that your dog? Like, no, 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 I'm his human. Yeah, I think that's great too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm an animal companion. I
Mm-hmm.
don't own my dog. They allow me to be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. All right, great. Well, thank you, Michael, for your time and sharing about your journey and your book. And I'll see you on Facebook. And
All
I'll
right.
send you,
Thanks, Eddie.
yeah. Okay, thank you. And I'll send you the
Thank
link
you.
a little bit later. Okay, take
I
care.
appreciate
Have
it.
a good
Much
day.
love.
Okay,
Bye.
all right. Okay, bye.